Good evening, guys. How are you? How's everything going so far? Great. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. So let me share my screen. Great. So again, I'm back with some of your questions which you have asked through the Google Form link. And these are the questions which I am going to cover today. And also, guys, today it is going to be more theoretical rather than practical. These questions are related to mainly AI, how AI works, what are the different technical things. Those are going to be main discussions point as of today. But again, just to remind you, this is just a Q&A session, not your regular session. You will be learning all these things, the practical implementation in detail in your regular sessions. Uh, this is just Q&A session where you asked some doubts through the Google form link maybe, and those questions are given to me, and I'm going to just try to explain them in a way that you learn something new. So these all questions are mainly on AI. Only one or two question may be on Python. Yeah, that's it. Remaining all the questions are on AI only. So today's agenda is focused on AI, artificial intelligence. Mhm. All these PDFs are available. I think these are uploaded in 24 hours. So once these are uploaded, you will have access to download all the PDFs or maybe document from your LMS portal only. Just give it 24 hours. Great. So let's start with the first question, and that is about how to replicate custom GPT style predefined prompts in Google Gemini, especially with RAG, what custom GPT does. Okay, so now I just break down this problem into multiple parts. Great. So first of all, we need to understand what this GPT is, and we need to understand what these AI tools are. So let me just give you some clarity, guys. We have one more question on the same thing. What do you mean by models? So let me just understand these two questions in one go so that you have better understanding. So let me first explain you the second question, and then I'll come back to the first question so that you have better clarity or understanding. So let's first understand what do you mean by model, or what do you mean by GPT or any other fancy term which you hear. Okay, great. So see, these models are like brain. I have used a very simple analogy so that you get more clarity. So if I compare human with AI, so you can say in human, the brain is nothing but the model which allow you to think, to process, and to take action. That is like in human part. Same way in an AI application, model is that brain. For a human, there is something called education. Education will train you to make some specific decisions, to use a system. Maybe it could be anything. Similarly, for AI, it is training, the information which you use to train these models. Now, what is the experience? Experience is like more the experience you have, better decisions you can make. Same way, more the data set you have, better the training will be to these models, and these models will become more intelligent. So when we speak, that is our output. Similarly, whatever AI gives us in form of maybe speech, in form of image, video, in form of text, those are nothing but AI models output. This is like in reference to human, but you can also understand GPT model like maybe think of a car. So what is the main component of a car? The engine, right? So here you can say this engine is nothing but the model. Now all the things whatever you have added, the seats, the body, and the wheels, and maybe the steering, all these are the different component which will allow you to access this engine, allow you to run it on highway and all. So model is the core component of any AI application. Without model, there is no AI application. Like without brain, human is like useless. The same way. So model is that thing. So whatever, now let's just come to the next point. For example, now chat gpt. So chat gpt is an AI application, but it uses a model. What is that model? It is known as GPT model, and that is the term is GPT 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. These are the model. The application of it is chat gpt. Similarly, Gemini also uses one model. Similarly, the other AI tools also using some models. Okay. Now, how these engine can, or how these model can build these models? Coming back to this question, these model are or can be built in two different ways. If I want to create an AI application, either I create my own engine, my own model, or I will just use someone else's model through some API. So this API is nothing but a mechanism which allow you to use someone else's model, someone else's solution. So there are now two type of models. Either you create your own model for AI application, or you use someone else's model to create your own AI applications. Now, whenever you have your own model and your own AI application, then there is nothing wrong. This is called custom solution. And this is called your own model and you are the owner. But whenever you want to replicate, let's say, why should I waste so much time in training and all the pre-processing and all? Because I don't have that much resources equivalent to OpenAI or equivalent to Google or any other big AI platform. They have too much money, they have too much manpower, they have so many resources. But companies generally do not build their own model because of their cost, because of the resources, because of many other factors. So, what they generally do, or what you and me do, is that we use their models. Like we can use Google's model, we can use OpenAI's model, we can use some other model and create our custom model. So how this custom model works? So there are many mechanisms. The most popular mechanism is called RAG, retrieval augmented. Okay. This model, how this is going to help you. So for example, you have this model and you want to create another model which is yours. So what you are going to do in between you are going to use a RAG model which is going to use this model especially for your own purpose. This RAG will allow you to explicitly add information, explicitly add a predefined prompt maybe. For example, when we generally communicate to any AI application, we ourselves write some prompt that act as a data scientist, maybe act as a system engineer, act as a data analyst, and this is the scenario you have to answer this. Now, if I run a fintech company, maybe if I run a fintech company, I will just add this predefined prompt that whenever you come to our model and use it, whatever you write, even if you ask what is debit and credit, already there is a prompt which is designed, which says act as a financial trainer. So it always going to explain you in relevant to that aspect only. Means it is going to always answer as a financial trainer or financial advisor. This is one thing. The other thing which we need is we don't want to give some random information from the whole internet. We want to give information from our database. So we need to add our database again through RAG. It will allow you to access your database, your information. So if you think about a banking sector, maybe. So in banking sector, if you have built an AI tool where you can just type any account number, maybe that this is the account number, give me the detail. So this AI tool is going to go to your database and will fetch the information related to that account number and will present it to you. So all this is happening through RAG. Maybe there is one more popular way to do that, LangChain. You can use any of these techniques to create your custom GPT model, custom models. Are we making sense? Make sense? So you need to understand things. Okay, you need to understand things that how these things are possible. Now maybe you might be thinking or you might be confused as someone has asked, like, do we need to create custom solutions or not? No, it is not really important actually. It's up to your use case. If you are running a very small shop, you don't even need any solution. You can just do it by yourself. Unless you are really working on a sensitive information. Till then, there is no requirement of custom GPT. You just need to use, yes, you just need to use any tool, whatever you have in your hand. But if you want to process the sensitive information, maybe your internal information, then you might need a custom solution. Okay, great. No, I have even mentioned what are the technologies which you need to know. I have mentioned it in multiple breakup. These are the technologies which you need to learn. Either you need to learn Vortex AI plus Gemini, you may need to learn LangChain, or maybe LMI Index, maybe Google AI Studio or Firebase plus Gemini API. But all this along with Python. So everything you do with Python or R language, so you need to learn that. Once you learn all these things, then only you will be able to integrate. These are called advanced topics. Okay, great. And yeah, sensitive information could be, for example, for a bank, they cannot give you any person's transaction history where they have spent, how much account balance they have, or where do they come from. Like those information are called sensitive informations and internal information that is for banking purpose only. You may know someone CIBIL score by buying some application or something, but you don't know how this CIBIL score arrived to those information. Great. You need to learn Python. Python is the most market dominator as of now. Earlier, R was also very useful, but now many people have contributed in Python. So you have too many libraries in Python, which will allow your work super easy. So Python is the most popular language, I can say. Okay. Don't worry, just stick to this session. We have many questions on AI. what are the important AI tools which you need to remember and how can you work with them. All the things are there. Even I'll try to show you something. So here, now let's move to the our third question. What is the practical connection between MSTY.ai and API keys? I don't know whether anyone of you have ever seen MSTY or not. Let me just show you and you will understand it by yourself. So here if I go MSTY.ai, this is how this platform looks like. So this platform is earlier in mobile phones also there were so many applications. I don't remember there was one application who used to integrate all the different applications into one place. So MSTY is like that type of solution. So it integrates multiple AI tools at one place. So here, if you want to use, maybe it will give you access to Gemini, it will give access to Claude, it will give access to ChatGPT. So it is like a platform which combines multiple tools at one place through different APIs. That is what MSTI do. So it is not, you can say, the backend part, it is like a front end part. It works as a front end. So you have this front end and here you are communicating to this front end, and in the back end it is just redirecting your prompt, your command, your solution to different AI tools. It the simple way you can understand, earlier we had, I am not able to recall that application name, but in mobile phone also we had these applications where you can have all the applications by default. है There you have Flipkart icon as well as Amazon icon as well as the other icon, and you can just access any of these applications in one application. Okay, great. So that is how it works. So this is your MSTY UI, that is the user interface. Whenever you use, it is going to use the API key. It is going to call any selected models which you have designed or you are connected to, and then it is going to give you the response based on that. You might be thinking, why do we have these different AI models? See, you can think of all these different AI models in a way like how do we use e-commerce platform? We have multiple e-commerce platforms. We have Myntra, we have Flipkart, we have Amazon. But each of these platforms have some specialty. For example, maybe if you are uh, searching for clothing or maybe fashionable clothes, you might prefer Myntra. But if you are searching for maybe electronic gadgets, you might prefer, let's say, Flipkart. So every AI tool has their specialty. Some tools are good in research. Some tools are good in creating images or notes. Some tools are good in straightforward answering. Only that is the difference, but all the way around, the one thing which remains same, that is the prompt, the way you communicate to these tools. Okay, that is what we need to learn. So depending on your solution, depending on your custom model which you are trying to build, you can decide which one is better for you. Okay, so when I say custom model building or designing your own GPT model, I'm not saying for any business. I mean when you are working for a company to design a custom maybe model or Gemini or maybe any other AI tool, then I am saying. Okay, great. Now the same question related to that only, why selecting a model in MSTY.ai still matters. So whenever you are building, same thing. Every tools answer the same question in a different way. Context differs, the length of your explanation will differ, the reasoning will differ, and cost is also differs. Now, you might hear this term called token. What is token in these AI tool forms? कैसे क्या होता है token? Does anyone have any idea what do you mean by when I say token? So there are two things, guys. Whenever you write a prompt, you as a human read it as a words, but the internal mechanism, the tools, AI tool or these models understand them in form of tokens. Okay, now what do you mean by token? Yes, token is nothing but the chunk of data. So even a long word, for example, if I say maybe a long word, let's say Ahmedabad, this is a city name. But if it is a dictionary word, orchestrated, so you might have this orchestrated into two different tokens. So token is nothing but it is going to divide your words or sentences into multiple parts to understand in a better way to draw the meaning of your words exactly. Why do we even divide them into multiple segments or multiple chunk and to understand them in better? The very obvious reason is ChatGPT doesn't know whether it is second form, third form, or what it is. So internally, what we have done, we have created a brain who can look for the root word of any word, whatever you write. So they try to divide it into tokens so that they can draw the exact meaning of that word and respond accordingly. Again, there are many mechanisms involved behind the scene. Great. So every AI tool works or behaves differently, whether it is ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini. I feel like if you are working maybe on research type of work, then you can go ahead with Claude maybe. And if you are working with creation of images and all, Gemini is nowadays, is quite good. Even this group is also getting very popularity on Twitter. And if you are simple, just working for daily use purpose, I personally use ChatGPT, but yeah, you can go ahead with DeepSeek as well. So even I have created a list of that. When do we use which tool in the last, I guess, somewhere. Mm, I did create some. Yeah, yeah. GPT-4 detailed regulatory answer, Gemini Fish, short and fast, small model, generic explanation. This is how you can decide when or which model you are going to use. So you can use GPT models if you need detailed regulatory answer. You can use Gemini Flash if you need short and fast answers. And you can use any other small model if you need some generic explanation, not in detail or research based explanation. Clear? Great. No. Are we clear, guys? Okay. So why ChatGPT give different answer from different user from same prompt, although context is same? Okay. See, forget about ChatGPT for a moment. You talk about me. Let's say if you ask me the same question, maybe if you ask me, can you just wish introduce yourself? My introduction will be different to you, maybe. If tomorrow you ask me the same question, could you just introduce yourself? I might give a different introduction. It is not going to exactly same way the model thinks. They also have a brain. They don't remember everyone's info. That is how they are smart, or that is how they are relevant. If they answer you in same way like this or that, it means they have memorized each and everything. But these are not memory. They are answering you based on the patterns they feel you are searching for, the behavior. So they are also learning your behavior as well. For example, if you are using ChatGPT also learning your behavior, your way of thinking, the type of questions you ask. It is observing each and everything, right? So your answers is always going to differ. Even you as a person ask the same question multiple times, it might give you different answer in every way. It tries to give you the best possible answer always. So there are two type of answers or you can think of. You can create an AI chatbot maybe where the question and answers are fixed. That is called pattern based answers. You have just mapped someone. If someone asks about this, you always need to give this answer. If someone includes these type of keywords, you always need to give that answer. But that's not a smart tool. That is a basic tool. You just mapped all the questions to their relevant answers. But ChatGPT or all these AI tools which we see nowadays, these have their own brain thinking ability. So the moment you ask them a question, they are going to process your question and they will look for patterns in their lot of databases. Like if someone asks, give me a good introduction for data analyst, it will go and it will look in its training database, like how people are and describes themselves, and it will try to use its own brain mechanism and then will give you some answer. If you ask again, it will change this answer. So that is how it works. So don't get confused why it is giving a different answer. These are designed in a way that they are always going to give you a different answer. Or else it will be like a parrot baby. Whatever you have taught, only they can answer in that way. Great. Now, see here, if you see, you might have observed one thing. I am always using the term called model, 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 because model is the main thing. The user interface is like ChatGPT. User interface is like Gemini, but their backend, that is model. Model important. The brain is model, not the user interface. This is just for our convenience. That how can we use this model, right? So every model has different benefit. Whenever someone asks you, why do we have five different AI tools, five different models, or which one is best? Always think of maybe e-commerce platform examples, maybe. So every tool has their own specialty. For example, one might be good for research, one might be good for let's say technical questions related to development, one might be good for creating images or maybe speeches. So they have given the focused training to each of these AI tools based on their own logic or segmentation. Okay. And generally, every AI tool follow this mechanism. That is how they work. You write a prompt, they are going to tokenize your prompt, divide your prompt into chunk of data, and then they are going to look at how your model was trained, how or what type of keywords your model give weightage to, and based on that, it will generate your output. Okay, clear? So just this is the key rule. Different weights will give you the different answer. That is how your chat GPT works mainly. Or that is how the other tool differs in their answering. So these tools are maybe weighted on financial data, might be good for financial analysis. If any tool is massively trained on, let's say, any other type of data, they will give answer towards or keen to that only. That is how they are mainly going to behave or work. Great. Now, this question is again very, very popular. People say, why simple models beat deep learning on tabular data? So here I'm not talking about use, I'm talking about the backend part. Like in machine learning also, I hope you are well aware of machine learning. Machine learning is like a process, the first process of building AI application. So of course, there are two possible ways of building AI application, through machine learning or through deep learning, which is more advanced. So here the question is, why simple model beat deep learning model? You see, machine learning gives you models, but deep learning give you more advanced and more in-depth model. So what's the difference between these two? Why don't we simply use deep learning models always? Why do we even use simple model? Or how come this simple model gives sometime better answer than the deep learning model? Let me put you in a simple analogy. Think of it like you as a person are very rich and you owns everything. You have a cycle, you have a bike, and you also have a car. So you see, car is very luxurious. So why don't you go everywhere through a car? Why do you prefer a cycle, or why do you prefer a bike, or why do you even go by walk? Why don't you even use your luxury car? Because it depends on the problem statement, the complexity. Here the main factor is the distance. If you are going far, maybe car could would be a better choice. But if you just have to go for 100 meter, you are not going to take your car out of its place and then just drive it. No, you might just walk for 100 meters. If it is 1 kilometer, you might use a cycle. So it completely depends on the data type, what type of data you are going to deal with. So if your data is structured or tabular, then simple model always works well rather than deep models. Because deep model, as the name suggests, they always look for complexity, but there is none. So that is what I usually say. If there is no complexity, do not search for any complexity. Just keep it simple. If it is simple, it means it is simple. Don't go for any complexity. So it will increase the processing time, it will increase the complexity, it will give too much research. For example, let's say if I ask you what is the meaning of go. So maybe in Hindi you say go means jana, right? Jao, jana, like that. But if you give me too much research, go has many other words, gone, went, this and that. I don't need all of that. I just simple answer. What is the meaning of go? Go means jao. वैसे ही, so if you are building models, if you are building maybe some let's say models, you need to figure out how complex your data is, or what is the level of your data. So for example, if it is structured data like tabular data, you have information in form of rows and column, then machine learning models wins. But if your data is unstructured like text based data, जैसे कमेंट होते हैं, ईमेल होता है, राइट? इफ यू आर स्क्रैपिंग डेटा फ्रॉम मे बी ट्विटर or maybe from any social media account, and you want to build a model which can perform maybe sentiment analysis, maybe your product reviews analysis, like those type of learning. Or maybe if you want to process images or videos or speeches, then this is unstructured data, this is complex data. This type of data can be processed or better processed through deep learning models. Okay, so all models are good. The simple model as well as the deep learning model, it entirely depends on data type. What type of data, what type of information you want to process. And based on that, you decide. So on tabular data, your deep learning model never gives you the better answer. Clear? देखो बहुत सारे एआई के टर्म्स है, बहुत सारी टर्मिनोलॉजीज है. डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज्ड विद ऑल दोज टर्मिनोलॉजीज. Try to make them simple as much as you can. And you will learn all these practical as well in your regular sessions. So don't worry. I'm trying to just give you a simple analogy or understanding about these fancy terms. Great. Let me go to the next part. So here I have just created a small table, like what are the your could be top choices, especially for 2025 maybe. Now we are entered into 26, so it's better. Still, I'm used to 2025. Great. So for example, if you are using it for coding purpose, so GitHub Copilot is very popular, especially for coding purpose, because it is mainly designed for development purpose. So it will always give you good answer in coding. So if you want to debug a code, if you want to write a new code or whatever it is, your GitHub Copilot is all what you need if you are into software development side maybe. You can also use Cursor AI. So this is mainly used in VBA environment. In that environment where it can help you in end-to-end project, whether it is back-end, front-end, whatever you are designing, it can help you in all the ways. Claude may be used for refactoring or maybe for research type of work. Claude can give you the better explanation and maybe in-depth research or in-depth case studies. I personally use ChatGPT a lot because I use it for multiple purpose. It likes one solution for all, and I think since the moment it was released, I'm using ChatGPT, so I'm very used to it. So most of the problems you can solve through ChatGPT only. Gives you nice and clean explanation and help you to debug each and everything. You just need to write the right prompt, and almost for everything, it is going to give you the correct answers. Make sense? This is like personalized question. Someone has asked that if I have 9.1 years of experience in MuleSoft. Will it be relevant for BFSI? What is BFSI? BFSI stands for, let me just write, mm, banking, financial services, insurance. This domain is called BFSI. Yes, of course. Your experience is very relevant and you can go for these different type of roles. You can go for API tester, integration tester, middleware QA, contract testing, regression automation, any of them. And you need to learn maybe any of these tools, or more tools you know, better it will be. Okay. What about Grok and DeepSeek? Yeah, Grok and DeepSeek also you can use. Sometimes I find DeepSeek adds too much detailed explanation, which is not required. So yeah, of course, it depends completely what type of thing you are searching. But I use ChatGPT. You can have any other personal preference. You can use DeepSeek also. Yeah, that could also be a better choice, maybe. Okay, great. Now there is question on Python versus machine learning. Simple difference. Is there any difference between Python and machine learning? So actually, Python is nothing but a language. Machine learning is nothing but a technique. That is what you need to understand. Machine learning is like a process, is a technique, is like methods or algorithm. So let me just tell you one thing. Let's say creating a PPT. So you want to create a presentation that is nothing but to showcase information. Now to create this PPT, you may use Microsoft PowerPoint, and you may use maybe any slide PowerPoint, the Google PowerPoint. I know you have Google Slides. There also you can create presentation. You may use any other medium to create PPT. So PPT presentation is nothing but a technique, a method to convey or display the information, to represent the information. Why these are tools or ways to create these PPT. So Python is a language which will allow you to create machine learning solutions. And machine learning is nothing but a technique, a process to train your machines. But how are you going to train your machines? You need some language. How do you train a kid? How do you train your kid to speak? So whatever you use, that is nothing but your language, that is nothing but your Python. For example, what is my mother tongue? Urdu. So Urdu here is nothing but a language. And me as the kid need to learn through this medium, through this language. So Python is a language which will allow your machines to learn, and machine learning is a technique which have different ways, different methods, different algorithms which you are going to use. So we use Python just to implement machine learning. Okay, clear? And Python is not only used for machine learning, it can be used for software development as well. So people can build web applications using machine learning as well as for software development. In both ways, machine Python is like a multi-purpose language. It can be used in multiple ways for multiple purposes. Great. Python's role in ML simple real example. Same ways. Most of you, those who have learned Python, they know you need to learn the modules, the libraries, which can help you to build any ML application. So here I have taken an example. Let's say if you are building a loan default prediction application. So this is very highly popular application. Banking systems uses this application to predict who is going to default and who is not based on their transactional history. So Python will provide you those methods, those mechanisms, which will allow you to implement machine learning methods or technologies. So here first we need to get the data. So we are going to get the data and we are going to decide some rule. Okay, if someone, let's say, paying, let's say, your previous loans on timely basis, they have never skipped any installment, and if they are paying timely, it means they are not going to be a defaulter for the next one. If someone has already delayed the installments multiple times, maybe they can be a possible defaulter. This is one way to look at. You might also have data about their transactions into their savings account. They might not have taken any loan yet, so they might have data related to their transactional history. So you are going to look at how much do they earn and how much do they spend. So you are going to check their relevancy. So you will be able to calculate their saving habits. So if someone is earning 1 lakh but spending 1.1 lakh, it means they are not good. Possibly they are going to be a defaulter because they spend more than their earning. So there are many other factors in banking sectors which we are going to use to decide who can be a defaulter. How do we apply these techniques? We are going to use the data. Then we load this data through pandas. We perform all the cleaning and transformation. Then we train our machine through an algorithm which comes from scikit-learn. Scikit-learn is another module which will allow Python to train your models through machine learning technique. And then you have your final model and you provide some information and it is going to predict whether the person is going to be a defaulter or not. Make sense? So whenever you are learning this in regular sessions, you will understand how this machine learning can be implemented through Python. This is just basic idea that how it works. But remember one thing, in Python, for everything you have a dedicated module or library. Working with data, you have a module. Training your machine, again, you have a scikit-learn module. And maybe if you want to deploy this model freely, so you might use Hugging Face or any other platform to deploy your model as well to check how does it work. Make sense? Great. This is like little technical question. This, those who are working with Python, they know what this question is. This is related to string slicing in Python. What do you mean by string slicing? So slicing is actually this terms comes from the slicing of your, pizza. How do we slice pizza? We cut it from both sides. Same way in Python also, if you want to slice something, if you want to get some part of a string, you need to cut it from both sides. So to cut that thing from the both sides in Python, we use a mechanism called this square bracket. So for example, I have taken this example. I have this text which contains a word called finance. If I have to slice, maybe I want only fin. I know this text, if I write, it is going to give me the entire word, but I want some specific word. So if you want to slice something, you need square bracket. In a square bracket, you need to provide the starting position. So all these strings starts from zero position. So it is going to start. Okay. Anyway, let me just go to the Colab and show you practically how does it look like. If you want to look at a string, let me just open the yesterday's. Do we have that yesterday's? Yeah, this was. Let me show you practically how this slicing works. Okay, it is getting loaded. This is a Python environment where we can write Python code. So maybe it takes few seconds to get loaded. Yeah, it is loaded now. Let me just connect. Let me write a code. For example, I have just a name and I have wrote my name here. If I execute, if I just access name, it is going to give me the whole name, the full name. But I'm not interested in full name. I want to slice my name. I might want first few characters, maybe last few characters. How do I get that? So I'm going to use name because name is going to access the entire string. But to slice this string, I'm going to use square bracket. Now, if I write only one thing, this is like an index number. Every character of a name or of a string has an index position, which starts from 0. So here we have 0, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 digits. If I only write 0, it is going to give only you. You write anything. If you write 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 means I. It is displaying I. But I want to slice, means I want part of my string. If I want to do that, there is another way of writing it. What is your starting position? My starting position is going to be 0. Colon. Till where you want to move? I want to move till third character. It does not include the third character. It always includes 3 minus 1 up to second index. Execute. 0, 1, 2. What is 0, 1, 2? 0 means U, 1 means W, 2 means A. So it will give you UWA. You can write any other example. This time I want to start from 3 and I'll go till 5 or 6. ISH. This is called slicing in strings. Are we clear, guys? Very nice. You know, yeah, there can be other ways. Even it is uh, this slicing is important. Even you do it in data frame, you do it in list, tuple set. At multiple occasions, you are going to learn slicing if you are learning Python in your regular sessions. So not worry. In a string, we have indexing and slicing. In list, we have indexing and slicing. Tuple, we have indexing and slicing. In dictionary, also we can do indexing. Then if you come to the analytics part, in data frame also we have indexing and slicing. So everywhere you are going to learn. In NumPy also we have indexing and slicing. So it's quite important topic. You should know it very, very clearly. Okay. That is the rule, Kiran, that it always exclude the last element. It goes till 3 minus 1 because it starts from 0. Indexes starts from 0. They do not start from 1. So in the end, it subtracts one element. Okay. How to find job through AI? So see, AI directly can't give you jobs, but you can use AI smartly. Maybe to improve your LinkedIn profile, you can use AI. To improve your resume, you can use AI. To know the best way to apply, you can use AI. To write cover letters, you can use AI. So this is how you can use AI. It directly does not help, but indirectly it can help you in many ways. Yes, of course, Gurdeep. You are going to have these regular sessions. Whatever I am discussing, these doubts come from regular sessions only. Okay. Yeah, this question might be a little tricky for you. The bitwise operator. These operators are mainly used earlier before these natural codings. So initially, when we had these low level coding means when you write your code in machine language and machine only understands 0 and 1. So whenever you write a code in form of 0 and 1, these are called low level coding. So low level coding is nothing but it can be performed through bitwise operator. So there are many bitwise operators. Few of them are here. AND operator, XOR operator, shift left, shift right operator. So it does not perform operations directly on decimal values, but it performs operations on binary values. So first it will convert 5 into binary digits. So 5 in binary digits is 101. 3 in binary digits is 011. This is how it works. And when you combine them, add them together, it is going to give you this as your answer. So whenever you want to use these operators, so earlier these was very, very important. One use case could be encryption, and even the simplest use case I can tell you, generally when we had these IoT devices like on off, in remote you have this option on off. This is on binary based. So whenever we have binary output or binary possibility, generally in those type of applications we use these bitwise operator. This is now old fashioned. It is not very or highly used in nowadays programming. In nowadays programming, we generally focuses on the other operators, the arithmetic operator, logical operator, comparison operator. Many other operators are there. Membership, identity. You know, those operators are mainly used nowadays. Create. Great. Ownership of AI built software. What do you say about if you build any AI software or through AI? So as you know, you can build any software, whatever you want. The only thing is you just don't use someone else's logic, someone else's code. That's the whole thing. Or else whatever you want to do, you can do. You are just free to apply your own thought. You are free to apply your own coding. You can always build any tool. And most of the applications nowadays are built through AI tools only. And these AI tools help you debug the code. These will help you to write the code. The front end, the back end, you can design each and everything with the help of these AI tools. And you can build a software, right? But for that, you need to learn some coding. Without coding, you will not even understand. See, nowadays, remember one thing, it's not about generating code, it's not about writing front end code, it is right integration. How will you integrate front end to back end or maybe any other component? This integration comes when you have domain knowledge. Now, what is domain knowledge? So, if you want to develop a software, you need to learn the basic principles. How do we develop a software? What are the things which are required for building a software? Or what is the software development life cycle? So, you need to understand those things. If it is data analysis, you need to learn why do we do the data analysis? How do we interpret the problem? What is the meaning or how do we come to the conclusion of a problem? What type of solution you want to build? Or else it will be like gibberish. It will not make any sense. It will not make any meaning. So if you do not have domain knowledge, it will become quite difficult. Though you know that you can generate code, you can analyze, but what to analyze, what to look for? If I give you a data set which might contain hundreds of columns and crores of records, and if I ask you questions, then only you will be able to answer. When you have the domain knowledge, when you ask the relevant questions to AI tool, that this is what I want from this data, this is what I want from this data. So domain knowledge will help you to avoid these copyright issues and all of that. Okay, are we clear, guys? We talked about lot of AI. Yeah, someone wanted to see Hugging Face. So if I show you, this is how the Hugging Face looks like. This is my account, so you can create your own account on Hugging Face. It is free, of course. And here you have so many models. If you click on models, people have uploaded all these models. These are the models which you can use through an API to build any, let's say, your own custom model maybe. So it requires a lot of Python programming as well, and you need to check the relevancy and all the other thing. So I have built some models. For example, if I click on Ovesh, this block generator, spam detector, survival probability, these all models I have created. So if I restart this space, it is going to give you the real-time feel of your own application. So it is going to take time because I have not started it for a very long time. Yeah, of course. So this is Hugging Face where you can deploy your model initially. Later on, you can just deploy it to the production in your companies. So, yeah, that is all we have for today, guys. I hope I was able to add some constructive or meaningful understanding to your learning already. है ना? So that was all we had for today. And of course, we are going to meet in some other session some other day. Yes, it is free to deploy your models in Hugging Face. So yeah, of course, before you leave, you can drop your queries through the Google Form link, and of course, you can drop your feedback before you leave. That is all we have. Be elated, Happy New Year. Yeah, of course. Thank you very much. I wish you the same. And you will have access to this document. So just go through it once, and you will have more clarity to each and every topic which we have discussed today. I wish you all the very best, guys, and keep learning, keep working, keep rocking. I would love to know about your success. Bye bye. Good night.